Have you checked the children? Show a little mess
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
And you got Jaime Fuego here.
And we're here to talk about another release from 2019. We are going to be cramming a good amount of reviews here in at the end of the year because Fuego and I, of course, had to do our end of the year lists. And so we had to watch a lot of movies, and so we're going to review said movies.
Woo.
The first one we're going to do is one that actually is available now on Netflix. Kind of a bummer because I paid the $7 to watch it literally 2 days before it dropped on Netflix.
Yeah, and it's
Didn't have any idea it was dropping on Netflix.
Yeah, and it's man, it had been on VOD since like October, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
so I waited
just
until the
neglected it.
last 2 days to go ahead and pay $7. But honestly, in retrospect,
Probably worth it, actually.
happy to support this movie.
Yeah.
Because this was one of the better creature features that has come out in recent years. So this movie is Sweetheart. And it is really... I mean, to put the long and short of it is a boat crashes, one girl is washed up on shore, more than that, but she's the survivor that washes up, essentially.
She's our castaway.
She's true enough.
Yeah.
She has to start making her way on this island, not knowing quite what to do, but very rapidly she finds out that at night she is not alone. So she's asleep one night and she starts hearing craziness and sounds and chomping and grossness and weird breathing. And it turns out that at night, this particular island happens to be the hunting grounds for a creature of some kind. And the movie then becomes about her survival against said creature, who quickly becomes aware of her presence. And even though he can't get to her the first time he's aware, well, it is aware of her, it comes back nightly after that, and it's a nightly game of survival as this creature that you don't really get a great look at in the first half of the movie, but man, it picks up, and there's a chase scene that's great. There's confrontations that are great. Eventually, there are other people that enter the situation, and that intensifies everything. And if we're going with our overall opinions first, I mean, I kind of just covered the story, so I did it a little bit out of order. But honestly, this is one that we did a trailer reaction for, and we were both like, this looks cool based on the trailer. And I finally got around to watching it, and because I was watching the movies for the 2019 Best Of list, and this was one of my alternates. It narrowly missed the list.
And it would have been in contention on mine, honestly. I thought it was badass, man. And I mean, there's these large segments without dialogue where it reminded me so much of Castaway, but the cool creature, I mean, great acting, which we'll, get into, obviously. But yeah, as much as I love creature movies, this would have definitely been in legitimate contention. And it's one, honestly, that I'm surprised Blumhouse Tilt through Universal dumped on VOD, because I feel like this could have
done
noise
so
in theaters,
much better
man.
in theaters.
It really
Agreed.
could have. Yeah.
If they had done this instead of Black Christmas, they would have made way more money in the theater.
Decisions, guys. Jason
100%.
Blum.
Nonetheless, so we both agreed that this was a great movie.
Yeah,
and
it was killer. I
the
really
story,
enjoyed it.
as I said, I detailed it already. So you know the story, and that's part of what I loved about this movie was the simplicity of it. There's certain movies that are just exactly what I was going to drive to. It seems simple on the surface, but it's how deep can you get in that story. There's Panic Room, right? There's people invading a house and a mom and a daughter that need to survive. There's Phone Booth, where there's a dude stuck in a phone booth for the whole 90 minutes. And I love that movie because it's so engrossing for a one location kind of movie where one person, actually that had multiple people. A lot is lying on the shoulders of this actress who did a great job until, some more actors enter the fray. But this movie just does so well with such a simple storyline. And that's, even though the story itself is very simple, it's so pleasingly presented that I have to give super big kudos to the story itself.
Totally, yeah, and it's well paced, and I mean, it's only like 82 minutes,
Yeah.
So it just gets to it, and I mean, just a terrific performance on display, obviously, and I liked just how they decided to go with writing this creature and some of the decisions that it decides to make and stuff. The aforementioned chase scene that you mentioned, like when I came over here to the Horror Show Studios for us to start discussing this, I was just like, there's this one beat where the creature's after her, and this creature's amphibious, so obviously it can just run away, and then a choice this creature makes without spoiling it to go after her is so dope. And I was just like, oh man, what a great idea. So just simple writing ideas like that are what also elevated this. But I think this is a good enough time to just talk about this girl's performance. You mentioned everything on her shoulders with so much, so much of not talking, so much of not having anybody else to interact with, having to emote, having to explore this place and still make it compelling.
Well, and please forgive me for checking my phone during the review, but I wanted to make sure I give proper credit, and her name is Kiersey Clemens.
She's great.
She did an excellent job, and there was also Emery Cohen who shows up, and Hannah Mangan Lawrence. Those are the other characters that kind of show up, and Kiersey did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Like, again, that's a hard thing to do, to shoulder an entire movie. Tom Hanks, yes, obviously, that's a guy that can do it.
Yeah.
But, an unknown, I was going to say a relatively unknown, just a straight unknown. I haven't seen her in anything else. This might be her first movie. She did a great job, and so, yeah, the acting and the people that show up, the guy was a little hammy, a little bit,
He was supposed to be, though. He was
But
like,
they both
without
were, right?
spoiling- Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, without saying like what happens with those people, maybe you can imagine without us spoiling stuff. But yeah, I mean, this girl is tremendous, even if everyone else was more like one-note horror tropes, so to speak. So, yeah.
So, effects-wise, Fuego, how did you like the effects?
I thought the creature, all too often in these films, especially of a lower budget, you're going to get glimpses of the creature. First you're going to
Maybe a reveal at the very, very end.
which I don't know if we should say or not how much.
No,
of a reveal
they
we
didn't.
really
No,
get.
I'll say.
Yeah,
because that's something
I
us
dug
creature
the design of the creature.
fans. Yeah, us creature fans, they want to see the creature, and this one was not one of those that just teased the balls all the way up until the end.
Oh, cup the statue.
No, they showed you stuff before the end. Like it kicks off at the end of the first act, where there's chases start happening. You don't get a full look until about the beginning of the third act, but then you get a whole act where you do see sort of what's going on and everything, and an even better look towards the very end. So it's
where it's like swimming. Where
exactly right.
Yeah, which is
so yeah, I think that they did a great job as far as parsing out the effects as they needed to keep us engaged. Like the whole movie, we were given just enough, like little scoops of ice cream to keep us engaged.
Yeah, so it was
all
almost
the way
like
up
a
until the
breadcrumb
end.
trail or something, because like we see like legs, like actual legs, like walking beside her. and she's
Non-human
hiding
too,
in
like you
this
can
log.
see it's got weird sort of,
They're almost like inverted,
kind of
like,
flippers-ish, almost feet kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, which
Honestly,
makes sense.
yeah, the one reveal that I really liked is where she shoots off the flare and you see the red silhouette in the distance out on the water. That I thought was just really cool. It was your first taste.
Oh, that was great. Yeah,
yeah.
that was when she first realized that there was something else around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that that's a great transition into the production and cinematography.
Yeah. Solid.
Real quickly, the production value, the whole thing takes place on this island, and the island itself obviously lends tremendous production value. They do a great job with it as well, obviously, so but it works well for the entire movie. Effects-wise, though, obviously a movie like this lives and dies by the creature and the carnage it causes.
Yes.
And they don't lean heavily into like the blood and gore of it all or anything like that, but when there is an attack and when they want to show what they want to show, like they show enough to satisfy the gore hounds, even without needing to necessarily show gushing blood and stuff like that.
Yeah, and in one particular instance, it's the power of suggestion where she buries somebody and then in turn said body is dug up and you just see like little splatters of blood on the sand and you're just like, oh my god. Like it's unnerving bits like that. You don't, and that's the Jaws mentality. It's like just the thought and the suggestiveness of it as opposed to actually just throwing those buckets of gore in your face. Although there's pieces of people that get washed up and stuff like that. So I mean, and fish and sharks and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I thought it was well shot. I thought, you know, the location was beautiful. Obviously somewhere in like the Bahamas or tropics or wherever. But yeah, this film was dope, dude. And I honestly wish I had seen it before we did our proverbial list, because yeah, it would have given my other picks a run for its money. So.
Well, we at least it got a shout out via my alternates. So.
Oh, and I have to say the score for this was really 80s synthy and badass. It was just like, you know, lots of like building, driving kind of stuff that has become really popular lately, you know, ever since stuff like It Follows and Intern Stranger Things and whatnot. It's not maybe on the level of any of those, but it's still of a similar ilk where I was just like, oh, this is making me feel like I'm in a different era. And I mean, since there's really no technology seen at all in the entirety of this movie, who the hell knows when it was taking place anyway? So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I know I did when I finally got around to it. I don't think enough people have seen it, so I'm
it's
happy
on Netflix.
It's on Netflix now. Who knows how long it'll stay on Netflix, but it's available for now. Yeah. So go and check it out as we record this, and decide for yourself what you think. Yeah. Does it deserve the praise we're giving it or not? Come back and let us know in the comments down below. While you're down there, click the like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe. Click the notification bell if you want to make sure you don't miss our reviews going forward. We're going to have a lot of these reviews from movies from 2019 coming towards you in the very near future. We got to prepare for our live stream, which we are going to be doing in less than a half an hour. Then we're going to be recording a bunch more reviews and reactions and stuff. So thank you guys very much for watching. Also in the description box is the link to our Patreon. If you want to become a patron, you can actually tell us movies to review and stuff like that. So you can become a part of the conversation. We appreciate it if you do. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.